Oh, what a palate cleanser. Oh, that was so nice. That was a really fun series. It was really good. Hi, my name's Sebastian. This is Vision Denial on the Road to MSI, where I, you know, watch the playoff series of all 12 regions participating at MSI. And I'm cutting it close. I'm technically recording this at 2 a.m. on the 5th. And then after this, there's 5 playoff series left, so really close. Round of applause and congratulations to Fast Pay Wildcats or Istanbul Wildcats. Look, get your name straight, guys. I have to. Why do I need to get the name straight? I can just take a look at a thing. Anywho, congratulations to the Wildcats for qualifying as the 7th team to MSI. Round of applause, round of applause. They won a series very quickly and decisively, 3-1 against 1907 Fenerbahçe. Now, where is this? There it is. Okay, yeah, it is Istanbul Wildcats. So I'm just gonna call them that. I don't care what the casters say. They keep calling it Fast Pay Wildcats. That right there, that name, I don't like it. It's like Gillette's Infinity. Please. Or Damwon Kia. I thought we were past the days of Samsung. Oh wait, but there's almost a lot of teams that come. Oh, I guess I'm just out of base here. Let's refocus. So, things that I like, things that I didn't like, things to look forward to, what this is mean for Turkey and the Wildcats participating at MSI. Well, honestly, I'm quite impressed with the performance from the Wildcats. Game 1 had me really doubting. Fenerbahçe really came through. It was very close all around. And it was kind of scattered, to be honest. I'm surprised, really, that the Fenerbahçe won that first game, considering how the other 3 games go. Because Wildcats have some very solid early gameplay. Keep consistent vision. The vision itself could be improved upon and made much more more comprehensive, more complete. But as the way that they apply to it to keep track of junglers, great, fantastic. What was it? Objectives. The neutral objective control was really solid in this game by the Wildcats. There were some fumbles here and there, but mostly from the way that they approach team fights and fights in general. And I think the wave manipulation needs work because they have like a down pat set method to be able to get most of the neutral objectives in these games. But when it comes to the actual sieging part, unless they have a very hefty gold lead, it doesn't look very good. Granted, hefty gold lead they had for its spades all throughout the series. Oh, right. The drafting complexity and the repetition, uh, I don't like out of the Wildcats. They did the same composition 2 games in a row, and honestly, it's not a good look. It's not very good. Now, oh, and they close games very quickly. I was very happy to see that. They had an almost sub 20-minute game. The only thing, however, is that because they're closing really quickly, they are very prone to mistakes. Like there are a lot of overstepping. Sometimes they make it engage that they didn't need to do. Sometimes they just the target selection's unfocused, but that mostly happens at the end game. Most of the other stages of play that Istanbul have, sorry, that the Wildcats have, are kind of lost my train of thought here. So the way that they close are sometimes a little reckless and half-hearted, but mostly only at the end. The rest of the gameplay, they're very coordinated and on the ball. I've seen fair like every so often a couple of mistakes, but that just mostly tells you that those are the notable things out of everything else that's fairly consistent and clean. I would prefer, and this is coming from a couple of games that are sub 24 minutes for the most part. I would prefer a pace at the mid game to be an incy bit faster, but otherwise, pretty great actually. Now, how do they step up against everybody? Well, I have to do both sides now because now there are 7 teams, right? So if I remember correctly, because editing me will have to actually write it out. Oh. The Istanbul Wildcats, from the way they played, I put them in 4th provisionally. Because there's still 5 other teams you have to qualify. Put them 4th provisionally, right underneath North America. And given the way that I talked about the series, some of you might think, wait, didn't you hated the North American series, like the finals, and complained a lot about it, but here you are still not putting the Turkish representatives above them. Yes, and unfortunately that has to do, again, with the contextualization of the floor to ceiling, and 1907 Fenerbahçe and their opponents throughout the playoffs, their opponents being, God, I'm drawing a blank. There we go. Their opponents being Supermassive, which ended up becoming way more inconsistent and probably would have been a better matchup against the Wildcats. And then NASR Turkey, which was also a pretty equal mess. So, like, that entire bracket being very close in gameplay, and the fact that the only close competition that the Wildcats had were from Galactasaurus, and I honestly didn't think very highly of the way that Wildcats were playing during that series, and it confirms with me that the it mostly confirms with me. I didn't have suspicions, but it confirms with me that Galatasaray was probably the finals matchup. Like, those were the 2 teams that really should have been considered, which is weird. It really is just weird. So, given all that, the overall trend of the region itself is very aggressive play. Great, but it's aggressive play for the sake of sacrificing lane pressures and tempo in a lot of different places to get extra gold, without the actual consideration of how that affects tempo. And Wildcats plays pretty well against that. So that's great. The problem is that they're playing against teams that happens often, as opposed to playing other regions where the teams play more conservatively or with more patience and reserve. And the fact of the matter is that, as cool as the Wildcats were here, and I'm saying that they were great at the neutrals and all the rest of that stuff, they were still fairly rushed with a lot of it. It wasn't as bad as the previous series we watched, where it was the Pacific regions, Beyond Gaming and Machi X, they were just straight up skipping steps to get through things, like skipping steps in terms of wave manipulation and setting up mid lane to be able to gain priority for the Dragon Pit. None of that was really happening, but what happens here is that they seemed very rush to get the game done in a way that still made sense, but that habit specifically will bite you in the butt for teams that are more measured or know how to play that pacing better. And because the only practice they had was with teams that are worse that don't know how to do that properly, I don't expect it to translate super well internationally. It's probably going to be around the same kind of issues with the Pacific region when I get back to that series and I talk about my thoughts for it, which is not the next one. No. Okay. So, yeah, for the moment, right now, until further notice, I do think provisionally um, they're going to be fourth. And considering how there's probably going to be 3 other series, I mean, it's pretty good for Turkey. Turkey's has done great performances and not so great performances. So, we'll take it where we leave it, right? We're so close. The 6th is like only moments away. Moments. Anywho, you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think like Wildcats will have a better chance, like given the performance they had, or if because of the practice they had against the region that probably won't transfer as much? Next up, we're going to the Russian finals for Crow Crowd versus Unicorns of Love. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.